Hello. Welcome to my channel, Crime in Court. I am Heather, and I'm here with yet another Alex Murdaugh update. So this article is written by Fitz News, by Jen Wood from Fitz News, and I really wanted to go over this because there was so much mysteriousness surrounding the egg juror. And I think it's so important to this case and whether Alex Murdaugh gets another case or gets a new trial or not. And it's really, I know that the judge has ruled that she's not going to bring in a bunch of Becky Hill evidence at this point, but I really think that they need to somehow get this in because she had say with what the makeup of the jury was, the people that actually went and deliberated. If she, Becky Hill, did the things that she's alleged of doing, then at that point in time when she interfered with the egg lady, I think that's when Alex Murdaugh's rights to a fair trial were violated. But I am not a judge. Though I would love to be, but I'm not a lawyer, not a judge. I don't have legal experience. I just love learning about the law, and I love reading these cases. So without further ado, let's actually talk about the egg juror. And she was actually known as juror number 630. So that was her number, her juror number. After former South Carolina Chief Justice Jean Toll issued a decisive ruling on Tuesday limiting testimony in Alex Murdaugh's upcoming jury tampering hearing, it appears as though the saga of the infamous egg juror has been put on the back burner, which I know we're all dying to know what happened to the egg juror. So we would have loved to have heard from her. I would have loved to have heard from her on the stand. You guys, let me know what you think. Should she have, should Jean Toll have permitted her to be on the stand and hear what she had to say about Becky Hill? I think it's relevant. I think it's valid. But again, I'm not a judge. So, moving on. Based on a new defense filing, though, there's a new juror saga that could be worth following, assuming Toll's tight parameters for the hearing permit it to be introduced. All right, so what are they talking about? During a status conference on Tuesday, ahead of Murdaugh's big evidentiary hearing later this month, which we know is going to take place on January 29th, Toll indicated she only wanted to hear from the 12 jurors who found Murdaugh guilty of unaliving his wife, 52-year-old Maggie, and younger son, 22-year-old Paul Murdaugh, at the family's hunting property near Islandton, South Carolina. So that was at their Moselle property. The only witness on Toll's list, embattled Colleton County Clerk of Court Becky Hill, who stands accused of tampering with Murdaugh's jury, purportedly to obtain a guilty verdict and sell copies of her book about the trial, titled Behind the Doors of Justice. So not making the witness cut, the egg juror. Toll made it abundantly clear. Hold on. If anybody doesn't know why she was called the egg juror, it was kind of a funny moment in the trial, because when Judge Newman was asking her questions about, whether she had spoken to someone about this, about the trial, and when she shouldn't have been, one of the last things that she had said was that, because Judge Newman was like, if you left anything behind, you can go get it. And she's like, yeah, I want to go get my eggs, because somebody there actually owned a farm or had a chicken farm on their property and had eggs and brought eggs into the jury every day or at some point, at least that day. And then for the reason why that was so important and funny was because eggs were like $7 a carton at that point. Like the eggs, like egg inflation is real. So that's why that was funny. And before I forget, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Subscribing lets YouTube know what kind of videos you like. Not just my videos, but it'll also show you more videos of the same kind of content, and it'll really help your algorithms as well as mine. So please hit that like and subscribe. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, so where did I leave off? Toll made it abundantly clear during this week's status conference that she is not inclined to give Murdaugh's attorneys any leeway in terms of assailing Hill's credibility, which has completely collapsed in the aftermath of the trial due to a host of criminal and ethics investigations into her conduct, not to mention alleged obstruction related to those investigations. So she and her son might be facing obstruction of justice charges as well as potentially criminal charges if she did, in fact, somehow interfere with the jury. So that means that Murdaugh's legal team, led by attorneys Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin, must try and win their motion for a new trial within the narrow parameters prescribed by Toll. So she really did set narrow a narrow pathway for where they can actually go regarding questioning and who's allowed to be questioned. And yeah, so Toll really laid down the hammer in her hearing this week with Murdaugh and his attorneys, and basically doesn't want to hear much, but she is allowing the evidentiary hearing to go forward with Becky Hill as the one of the only witnesses. So of the 12 deliberating juries expected to testify at the hearing on January 29th, so there are jurors that are going to testify as well, but she also limited the scope of their questioning, which they can't question anything about how they got to their deliberations, but they can question if Becky spoke to them, what she said, and what they thought it meant to be, like what the intent behind that was, or, you know, if it meant guilt or innocence or whatnot. So, all right. So of note, the one juror that is not on the list of jurors that will be testifying is juror number 630. It appears critical to the case Harpootlian and Griffin plan on putting forward. So it would have been, they do have an affidavit from one of the jurors that will be testifying, but it's only one juror that deliberated that now they have an affidavit for that they were able to gain some leeway for getting a new trial. Anyways, an affidavit from juror number 630, or our egg juror, as we like to call her, was included as part of the defense team's original motion for a new trial submitted last September. This document contains what would appear to be the most problematic allegations for the state. In her affidavit, juror number 630 stated the following. Toward the end of trial, after President's Day break, but before Mr. Murdaugh testified, the clerk of court, Rebecca Hill, told the jury not to be fooled by the evidence presented by Murdaugh's attorneys, which I understood to mean that Mr. Murdaugh would lie when he testified. She also instructed the jury to watch him closely immediately before he testified, including look at his actions and look at his movements, which I understood to mean that he was guilty. The foreperson, juror number 826, criticized the former foreperson, juror number 589, for handing Mr. Murdaugh a box of tissues when he was crying on the stand while testifying about his murdered son. She told the jury, "We cannot interact with Mr. Murdaugh because that is what the defense wants us to do. According to the supplemental filing by Murdaugh's defense team late Tuesday afternoon, there appears to be more to the story of juror number 630, and it appears to be very much tied to the egg juror. All right, so according to the defense's latest supplemental briefing, information received from Colleton County within the last few days proves Hill fabricated the Facebook post that led to the egg juror's dismissal and then lied to presiding Judge Clifton Newman about it. Wow. So maybe I'll have to dig into that and see what the defense is saying about the proof that they have that she fabricated the Facebook post, which got egg juror kicked off the jury. But Hill also allegedly failed to share with Newman similar allegations against another juror, one who was inclined to find Murdaugh guilty. Within the discovery, Murdaugh's attorneys found an email sent to Hill dated February 24th, 2023, by someone in Indiana who was watching the trial online through a Facebook link. This individual indicated the court ought to know about statements that were being made within a live stream chat, statements which she attached to her email. In the chat, an individual named Lucas Pierce told viewers his ex-wife on the jury and that his ex-wife was on the jury and that he was speaking out of turn and telling others that she thought Murdaugh was already guilty just because he's a man. Hill never reported this email to the court. Not only that, Murdaugh's attorneys believe it gave her the idea to allegedly fabricate the Facebook post involving the egg juror. Wow. I mean, I'm reading this for the first time. This is crazy. I mean, that was a real legit wow. I don't know what to say there. That's, wow. All right, so Ms. Hill, quote, Ms. Hill did not act on the email because the juror at issue purportedly was going to vote guilty, which conformed to her interests. But Ms. Hill believed juror 785 might not vote guilty based on the conversations with the jury foreperson to which she admitted in her interview with SLED. Okay, so she apparently had, she admits that she had a conversation with the foreperson. I don't know. All right, so the emailed Facebook post gave her the idea to invent one about juror 785, which she would say she saw on the Walterboro word of mouth group instead of having received it by an email. Okay, so she's saying that she saw it on a Facebook group or whatever. And, yeah. Wow, I can't believe that. Okay, so according to the defense team, when Newman asked Hill to produce a copy of the Facebook post relating to the egg juror, she lied and said it had been deleted. They even allege Hill went as far as enlisting her staff to assist in corroborating that, quote, she had seen it posted somewhere, but it was subsequently deleted, end quote. So she's trying to get other staff members of the court to corroborate her story about having seen it and it being deleted later. She's something else, man. If these things are true, that's just insane. Okay, where did we go? Why did Hill allegedly lie? According to the filing, her, quote, illegal private conversations with the jury foreperson made her believe juror 785 might vote not guilty, and she wanted to remove her from the jury, end quote. Because Hill never forwarded it to anyone, the tip about a juror allegedly stating their opinion related to Murdaugh being guilty appears not to have been investigated by anyone, not by the Colleton County Sheriff's Office or SLED, and the Office of South or the Office of the South Carolina Attorney General, Alan Wilson, or the court. So none of those people listed have done any kind of investigating about the actual juror that was going to vote guilty, that was talking about it to their husband and all over the internet. All right, so by contrast, when Hill forwarded an allegedly fabricated tip that a juror had expressed the opinion that Murdaugh was not guilty, it received a 4-alarm response by all of the above parties. By all of those people. They got real excited when they found out that there was something to get a not guilty or off the jury there, I guess. So to add to this already confusing situation, Fitz News recently obtained an email sent during the trial between several SLED agents. Oh, so they did a FOIA on SLED agents. Heck yeah. All right. In the email dated February 27th, 2023, the agents discussed their investigation of a Twitter juror tip received related to the egg juror. This tip has never been mentioned in any court documents, but if it was indeed a separate tip, it would mean the egg juror was reported on at least 3 separate occasions through 3 different platforms. Oh, okay. The egg juror denied allegations contained in the 2 tips of which we are aware through her affidavit. What allegations did this 3rd tip raise, and who sent it? Like SLED, our news outlet is still digging into the egg juror saga, as well as the broader allegations of jury tampering against Hill. What do you guys think, man? Do you think she did it? Do you think Becky Hill did all these things that they're alleging? Sounds almost like out of a novel, but it could be true. All right. Will any of this change former Chief Justice Toll's mind regarding the testimony or exhibits she permits in the upcoming evidentiary hearing? And I believe, like I said in my last video from yesterday, I do believe that Alec deserves a new trial based on the things that have been said so far. I mean, if they all pan out, or if any of them pan out. And I think Justice Toll was a little too rigid in her rulings yesterday, but I can't do anything about that. All right, so who knows? But it could lend credence to Murdaugh's attorneys who insist the removal of the egg juror was intentional and targeted due to her potential to hang the jury. And that right there, that is the importance of the egg juror. Because Becky Hill, if she fabricated these things and did these things to get egg juror off the jury, she absolutely tampered with the jury. No question. Just by doing that, by trying to eliminate people who would vote not guilty, she's changing the entire makeup of the jury. Just by changing it. One person can give a hung jury. So by taking that one person out, you're changing the possibility of the outcome of the trial for sure. So, oh gosh, it makes me so angry. I don't like injustices. So if she did these things, it's horrible. All right, so meanwhile, Hill's failure to notify the court about a juror alleged to have stated a bias against Murdaugh raises additional questions about her conduct during the trial and would certainly support the defense's theory that she was working to secure a guilty verdict as opposed to impartially administering justice. So instead of conversations like, hey, what would you like for lunch today? Or, hey, we're going to start late tomorrow, so don't come in at 8. Come in at 8:30. Those are the conversations that the clerk of court should be having with the jurors, and that's about the level of it. I mean, you can say, hi, nice day, how are you, whatever, but You, pleasantries. You are not to be talking about the trial. You're not to be asking them to watch his movements, his mannerisms, his listen to how he talks and to not be fooled by him or his attorneys. You can't say that. That is so prejudicial. So I really think he deserves a new trial if we're going to do it fair. But I mean, it might come to the same, it probably will come to the same conclusion. But it's still, but then you know it's the one that was made properly and not one that was manipulated behind closed doors, because that is not what our justice system is supposed to be about. We are supposed to have transparency and truth and honesty of our officials that are supposed to be elected officials. And yeah, she got a little too much power in her head, I think, and it ran amok. In my opinion, if it's true and all these things are that are alleged about her are true. So yeah, maybe I'll dive into the defense's latest filings if you want. Write it in the comments below. Let me know. We can kind of go through and see if there's more information that that Alex attorneys put in there about the egg juror. We can see and look through there. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate all your views. Anything that you can do to support my channel, anything, just viewing the channel supports me. So thank you so much. I appreciate you and have a great day. See you next time. Bye.